Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Awesome news. We confirmed that Grodd is coming back to The Flash in the back half of the season, so I'm going to explain what's going on. There is a new round of the Flash Ring giveaway that's going on right now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. Be sure to click that bell to enable alerts so you don't miss out on anything. So of course, most of us knew that Gorilla Grodd would come back in some way. There have been reportedly stuff from the set. I don't want to get too spoilery with stuff from the set, but supposedly they've already been filming that Gorilla Grodd episode, and it's supposed to be like a two-part episode that'll take place on Earth 19. So I'll explain like which version of Grodd we're talking about, and what about this new version of the Flash, because it's the multiverse, so naturally we're going to see other versions of the Flash from different Earths. Harrison Wells, right now at Star Labs, is from Earth 19, so it makes sense that he spent all this time talking about his Earth. We would eventually see it. The latest new version of Earth that we've seen so far is Earth 3, Jay Garrick's Earth, or Dawson's Creek Earth, however you want to think about it.
I told everyone inside I'd let them live if they followed my instructions. But I tricked them, which is so me.
Give it up, trickster.
Hiya, Swifty. Will you do me the honor of allowing me to kill you?
You're out of ammo.
But I'm not out of bombs. What do you say we take in the afterlife, big boy?
Looks a little steampunky in the way that Earth 2 is kind of Art Deco, like they almost tried to set the different Earths that we visit during different periods in our own Earth's history, so the design language is different. So in the comics, Earth 19 is set during the reign of King George, but it's still the 21st century, so you have all the regular DC heroes, but you look at their costumes and it looks like a lot of their design is going to be based on World War I era designs. So like the Flash here, he's really called the Accelerated Man. Nobody knows who he is. His identity hasn't been revealed yet, but it might be Barry Allen on the TV show, like Earth 19 Barry Allen. He looks kind of like the Red Baron, running around in a pilot suit. So whatever this two-part story is going to be, it's going to involve Savitar, the Accelerated Man, and Gorilla Grodd. So a lot of you have asked questions about Gorilla Grodd versus Savitar. We know that Savitar visits different Earths. He'll send like a herald, like a Dr. Alchemy, to let everybody know that he's coming and start building followers.
So, Savitar.
Yeah.
Apparently you've grown powerful enough to challenge him.
Who is he?
But every story I ever heard about Savitar is basically the same. Savitar was the first man ever granted speed. And over time, he became the god of motion, the fastest of us all. Before Savitar graces an Earth with his presence, he sends a predecessor to prepare for his arrival.
Alchemy.
We also know, based on Harrison Wells, that they have their own gorilla city there, so this is not our version of Grodd that we've been seeing the last couple of seasons. So I'll explain that more in just a second, but this is the quote from Harrison Wells.
Of course he does.
Where's Grodd when you need him?
Grodd. Gorilla Grodd.
You have sentient gorillas on your Earth, too?
Oh, yeah, we do. Many. Yeah.
So just to trace Gorilla Grodd on the TV show, starting with season 1. So we have the particle accelerator explosion, technically the second time that it's happened because the Reverse Flash came back in time to kill Barry, setting off a new timeline where Barry didn't become the Flash until a little bit later. He had the red emblem. So that happens, then Eobard Thawne, disguised as Harrison Wells, creates Gorilla Grodd, gives him sentience via the particle accelerator explosion, and then holds him in reserve until it's time to unleash him on anybody that comes up against him, like Team Flash or General Eiling.
What if you try?
So the Flash fights Gorilla Grodd for the first time. We get to see him cock-block the Flash's infinite punch because remember, he's super smart and super strong and super quick. So he gets away, and then we see him again during season 2 when he's trying to create other super smart gorillas to live with him because he's so lonely. So it's kind of a sad story, but it becomes kind of a King Kong allegory, whereby at the end of the adventure, they send him to Earth 2, where there is a gorilla city, like a place in Africa where gorillas like this go live. Harrison Wells tells them about it. So there's a gorilla city on Earth 2, and now we know there's a gorilla city on Earth 19. So instead of going to the gorilla city that we saw at the end of season 2, we're going to be going to Earth 19. I think mostly just because they want to do as much new stuff as possible, even though we're doing a lot of the same types of characters.
My third eye. Oh my God. Come on. Ow.
Welcome to Earth 2.
Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
This is amazing. Half these things are just ideas on our Earth. Come here. I mean, two-star. Oh, yeah.
Ramon,
What?
not a sightseeing tour.
Speak for yourself. We want our grandkids to know we did cool stuff.
So we get to see a new version of the Flash, a new version of Gorilla Grodd in like a whole different Earth. So part of the fun of episodes, like during season 2 when they had the two-parter when they went to Earth 2, is seeing all the changes in the characters you love. Like remember on Earth 2 when he looked at the phone, like there was Batman's name on the phone. So it's like, oh my God, there's a Batman that he talks to on a regular basis here. We don't know much about Killer Frost, if she's going to be in the episode. We've already got like a relatively human-looking version of her on Earth 1. So typically when they go to other Earths, they try to do different versions of characters. So if we see Killer Frost, it might be like a super glammed up Louise Lincoln-looking Killer Frost. They kind of did her costume when we did the Flash Forward with Cisco, but that was pretty hardcore glammed out. So if this is like World War I looking Earth, then her costume would probably flow from that design language. Some of you have asked about Savitar fighting Gorilla Grodd. The only reason I think that they would go against each other is if Savitar did something to threaten Gorilla City or Gorilla Kind and Gorilla Grodd wanted to protect them. That would create a need for a team-up between Grodd in the Accelerated Man and the Flash from our Earth. But there was like a brief arc in the comics whereby after Flash Rebirth, the original Jeff Johns Flash Rebirth, the Reverse Flash poisoned the jungles that the gorillas lived in, so they could be pulling from that or they could just be doing something original to the show. Because Grodd has usually gone against Team Flash, but in the interest of new twists, this could be a version of Grodd that fights with Team Flash, so that just remains to be seen. You guys can let me know, like, why would Gorilla Grodd fight with the Flash against Savitar? For those of you asking about the Accelerated Man, though, he's only been in the comics briefly, and it was in a separate continuity. It was during Grant Morrison's Multiversity back in 2014. So that does not exist in the main DC continuity. So this is the Flash writers going for some of that really weird, really awesome Grant Morrison stuff. Grant Morrison creates some of the most interesting characters, interesting stories ever, but usually they end up being like one-off stories off by themselves, like graphic novels that are relatively self-contained. So Accelerated Man, Earth 19 Flash just showed up during that Multiversity storyline. So you can read that if you want to. I'll explain a little bit more about that comic book story when we actually get to that episode. They haven't confirmed which episodes these Gorilla Grodd episodes are going to be, but because they shot it a couple weeks ago, I wouldn't be surprised if the episodes end up falling sometime around February. Like, you won't have to wait that long for this stuff to drop. So make some noise for Gorilla Grodd. Let me know what you guys are most hype about, and I will say congratulations to this week's Flash giveaway winner, the Boy Wonder. You win a Flash ring. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There is a new round that started with this video. I'll just announce the winner the next time I post a DC video. So gonna be an awesome week. There's a whole bunch more comic book stuff that I'm gonna try and get through. My next DC video will probably be Superman versus Deathstroke, but they also just finished Civil War II. A lot of you have been asking me to do a video about that. A lot of you may have heard that Legends of Tomorrow is actually going to go back and visit young George Lucas. They're going to, quote unquote, save Star Wars, so I'll probably do a video about that in the next couple days too. I just love the idea that they're going to go back. It's more related to the Raiders of the Lost Ark than it is to Star Wars, but you can't do young George Lucas without slipping in some Star Wars jokes. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for the trailer for the next episode of The Flash, and you can click here for the Arrow trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.